Chapter 8. Bonds. There was a general uproar by the two sisters, which John was trying to settle down. "Now hang on, every pony," he cried. The din subsided. "Derpy, carefully now. What happened?" Derpy looked from one to another. "It was my mail delivery at Fluttershy's." She carefully recited the entire incident in great detail. When she finished, John rubbed his forehead with a huff, thinking. He looked at the sisters. "Anything else, Majesties? No secret laboratories? No fancy shiny machine winking and blinking away somewhere?" Their faces said it all. "Right then," he looked at Derpy. "So you think he displaced the timeline, backed it up almost 2 hours, then let it run?" "I don't see any other possibility, John. You said so yourself. The displacement was small, but deep, stopping, rewinding, then restarting. This line certainly qualifies. You left a hole. There was non-parity until you and the TARDIS dropped in and did revising. The restructure repaired the gap." She studiously avoided saying that it left him stranded in this line, but eliminating his previous one. He smiled at her. "No crying over spilled milk or alternative realities. It's a fixed point, remember? Trying to fix this would definitely bollocks up everything. I shan't cry over it, and neither should you." Celestia was quietly still, pondering the import of the information in stark contrast. Luna was visibly upset. If this was another of his little jokes. "Highness, I don't believe he did this out of malice," Derpy said firmly. "And why is that, Mailmare?" "We should," Derpy interrupted before the benevolent Princess of Night became very unbenevolent. "Princess Luna, if he were going to cause this just for trouble, he would have done it for the disorder, not imposing order. He's remarkably consistent in that. This was a mistake." Luna continued to fume, but didn't object. "So what to do about it?" the doctor asked of the two demigoddesses. Neither had an answer. "And me as well, Derpy?" Now she was on the spot, something quite new and very unsettling. She became extremely quiet. "I'm sorry, love, didn't mean to drop it all on you, but if you had the latest interaction with him, other than Fluttershy, your opinion counts for some too." He smiled gently, nodding and gesturing forward with a hoof. "John," she said, trembling slightly. She was almost into a panic attack. "Look, I'm standing right here with you. You're one of the most clever, smart ponies I've ever met. It's a small list, John, and not overtly helpful, but it is a list, love, and you're top pony on it. You may not be some robotic computerized being with a head of the size of a planet, but then again, things work better sometimes when brilliance has no need to travel great distances. I ever get out of this, I plan to strangle you with that tie of yours," she said crossly. "See, optimism. Have to get there to do that," he said, grinning maniacally. She glared at him, then sighed. She then turned to face the Darchi, planting a big smile on her face. "Highness, Discord is lonely." "Been there, done that," Luna whispered disdainfully. Celestia placed a calming hoof on her shoulder. "Your support in that, Derpy?" asked Celestia analytically. At least it wasn't complete rejection. Derpy started to warm up to her subject. In a way, this was college all over again. If she had looked at the princesses just right, it felt much like her argument for the gizmo. Although it didn't work as advertised, it had been built and it didn't operate. And knowing she had been correct about her foundations on it, she suddenly felt confident about these conclusions too. "My interaction with the demigod of chaos have been, unique as compared to most every pony on Equestria. I place no constrictions on his actions other than functioning as his conscience and his Maloo. His desire for interaction helped self-limit his behavior. Are you simply saying to have someone to show off to, you kept a lid on it?" Celestia asked, stunned. "Yes, Majesty, that is exactly what I'm saying. In most ways, at least in ones that matter, Discord is incorporating those friendship lessons that he had been exposed to. He's a friend of mine, for example." All three ponies turned and looked at her, astonished. "It's been an interesting week," Derpy said meekly. "Eep," came from Luna. The others just continued to stare, dumbfounded. "Look, it started with Discord and that rabbit of Fluttershy's. Then a time charger falls out of the sky into my backyard. And now I'm giving my opinions to the two princesses that rule my world. Don't you think I'm handling all this pretty well, considering?" Derpy said defensively, a little put out. "Mother of me," said Celestial, stunned. "Mother of us," Luna corrected, also staring astounded. John's mouth started to open. Derpy glared at him dangerously, pointing at him with her forehoof. Don't. He shut it with a snap. "Derpy, please understand," said Celestia. "All our experiences with him have been, well, combative. It's very difficult to wrap our minds around the Lord of Chaos being nice to any pony. We had a difficult time of it when Fluttershy took him in, afraid she and those around her would disappear down a chaos-filled nightmare. And now we find out he's making friends on his own. And I told your daughter once that I felt that if there was an additional element of harmony, if such a thing existed, it would find you," said Luna. Amazing how present that was. The situation is most hard to grasp. She told me, Highness. Thank you for your kind-heartedness with that, said Derpy. And I do believe he is sincere. I want to nurture that, yet guard against my further fiddling with the timeline. I believe he is inexperienced as you are in the time manipulations. It's much more based in science than arcane knowledge. Somehow we either have to prevent him doing it, which he will naturally be sent, or dissuade him from exercising it. Any ideas, Derpy? Asked Celestia kindly. Now it was Derpy's turn to stare helplessly. I've got one, said the doctor suddenly and loudly, a huge smile on his face. Where's Fluttershy? We need to go see her first and then Discord. Probably at home by now. John, why? Asked Derpy with trepidation. That smile made her uneasy. Let's get into the TARDIS, everyone. Time for an intervention, he said enthusiastically. Luna faced Swift. Is he really planning to talk to Discord about this? Thought Celestia. The spirited argument that started in the big blue box didn't lift a bit once the doors swung open on Derpy's backyard. There had been one change. The TARDIS is now sitting on the walkway near the house, not on the lovely grass section. John beamed and winked at Derpy when she noticed that. As John locked the door on his, Derpy was unlocking hers, starting to whisper a prayer of gratitude. She and Dinky kept the house spotless, then almost burst out in giggles at the incongruity that the very beings she was contemplating praying to were about to tread on her nice clean floors. I am very concerned about revealing such information to the Chaos Lord, Luna went on as they walked in. Luna took the interior in, smiling and nodding at the tidy place. She liked it. She liked order. As am I, sister, but we need to face the fact that we really don't have any idea quite what to do about this, Celestia said, frowning. She also looked about. Derpy, this is such a lovely place, and we would love a tour of it sometime, but we are a little pressed currently. When we get back, please contact the steward and set up a convenient time with him. I'm sure we can manage it. Derpy's eyes went wide. 2 demigoddesses, 1 demigod, she thought. Holy sh! Keeps the place neat as a new pen. She does. Her and the little one. Magnificent, isn't she? John chuckled as he swept up a water glass from the cupboard, gave it a quick fill from the faucet, and tucked Derpy's rose he'd plucked from her ear deftly into it with a flourish. Amazingly, it was still as fresh as when he put it over her ear. He then went on past to the front door. And 1 time charger, she added. A mad, gallant time charger. He unlocked it, tugged it open. Mare's first, he said graciously, gesturing grandly through the open door. They all stopped and looked at Derpy. But, she said confused. Celestia laughed delightedly. My little pony, this is your home, your castle as such, your reign here, and as such, you lead us by going first. She gently nudged Derpy with her head out the door. Celestia then followed her, then Luna, with John bringing up the rear. Derpy turned red with embarrassment as she re-locked the door. I'm sorry, this is so confusing. Princess Luna, it might be helpful to just follow her. Derpy, the sun is out, Luna said, smiling as she watched Derpy lock the door. I beg your pardon, Princess? Derpy asked. She laughed quietly. As a Darchi, sharing power can be complicated. We decided long ago to approach this particular question of simply whichever celestial body is in ascendance dictates the precedence. During the day, Celestia is first. When the night comes and my moon fills the sky, I am first, which means she gets all the good parties, Celestia said with a wink, grinning. And I still wish we could alternate on the gala. Nuh-uh, Luna said as they took to the road to Fluttershy's. That's all yours, sis, she said happily. Celestia grumbled. Come on, Looney, I need a rest from it. Please, she begged. Why would I wish to break with such a long-standing tradition? Luna asked innocently. Because it's nighttime and crowded, and filled with such irritating obsequious toadies and lackeys, begging for bone favors and an annoying royal pain in the dock, and other than my night, absolutely nothing I want to willingly partake in as a host. Seriously, Sally, you're not exactly selling it to me very well. Look, Looney, sometime in the next several thousand years, you can expect to get stuck with something you're not going to want to be doing on a constant basis. Let's set a new president now, before it happens, Celestia retorted. Derpy stared, dazed, as she walked along the road with 2 super beings arguing like fillies being forced to eat raisins. She hated raisins. Amazing that when you really get down to it, royalty puts their pants on, 1 leg at a time, just like everyone else. John laughed softly as he caught up to her. John, just in case it slipped your notice, we covered this already with shoes. Plus, no one is wearing pants, Derpy pointed out, annoyed. We're ponies, remember? Never mind, for example. And I'm not staring, really, I'm not. A short time later, they were at Fluttershy's door. Celestia held up a hoof, and John paused in front of it. Are you sure about this? She asked the chestnut stallion. Of course not, he said cheerfully. As he walked around her and knocked boldly, she twitched an eyebrow up. So what makes you think this will work? I'm the doctor, he said cheekily, showing off those acres of white teeth he had in a dazzling smile. Celestia made an interesting sound, somewhere between derisive and exasperated, with a slight touch of disbelief. Derpy decided that it would be a good one to learn. It communicated so much. As they waited for the door, Derpy noticed that the dusk kicked up along their trip on the road had not dared to settle itself on the other princess. She and John, however, would require a gentle brushing or a nice shower later today or tonight. She gave herself a mild shake and unwittingly released a small, dust-filled cloud which immediately disappeared upon her nose. She tried, but unable to resist further, she let out with an adorable sneeze, eliciting 2 warm smiles from a pair of princesses and a delighted, toothy grin from the time charger. Just then, a butter yellow Pegasus with a pink mane answered the door. "Oh my goodness!" As the mayor's eyes grew huge, taking in the small but famous party. "Fluttershy, would you mind if we came in to see you for a bit?" Princess Celestia asked warmly, smiling gently down at the teal blue-green eyes. "Oh, here we go again," Luna said grumpily under their breath. "Always with the soft sell." Derpy almost gasped, staring at Luna. Luna pretended not to notice. "Please come in, majesties, everyone," she said in her soft, quiet voice, bowing deeply. Celestia smiled. "Fluttershy, our sister Luna and our friends. You've already met the doctor and you already know Derpy. Thank you for seeing us on such short notice," said the benevolent warmth of the sun, fully into her identity. "But of course, majesties. Can I get you something, a drink perhaps?" Fluttershy asked kindly. Derpy started to answer, suddenly very desirous of a shooter or two of that nice peach schnapps. Fluttershy kept on a back shelf on her pantry, for medicinal purposes only, when Celestia intervened. "Tea would be fine, Fluttershy, and don't trouble with adding any cream and sugar. We'll do that ourselves from the tray." Luna made a rude face directly in front of Derpy. Out of sight from the rest of the group, an outstanding, precise blend of gagging, horror, and revulsion, Derpy suddenly realized she was interested in something stronger than just tea as well. "Where's your roommate, Fluttershy?" Celestia asked, in that homey way she had honed to razor-like sharpness over centuries of small talk. Derpy noticed Angel in his basket, ears laid back in fright, nothing moving but his eyes as he watched the room full of alicorns, a crazy stallion, and his recent practical joke target. "He's upstairs doing chores. Should I?" Just then there was a poof, and Discord, in a French maid's outfit, was suddenly standing downstairs. All the eyes of the group were on the black and white dress somehow shoehorned onto the lanky figure, as he stared in various stages of shock and surprise. "I'd already told you, I don't do windows," he blurted out, just before he noticed the 2 presences. "Oh, just terrific," he said in an exasperated tone. "Need a new centerpiece for the royal gardens already? I'm sorry, princesses, I'm not about to induce another 1,000-year ache in my back for a suitable dramatic pose. You'll just have to settle for this one," he said as he poofed into a dejected lumpy stone statue laying on the carpet. Derpy giggled. She couldn't help it. He immediately poofed back into himself without the maid outfit, laying on the carpet sadly. "And they bring you to watch my latest misery? I was so looking forward to Sunday," he said, looking at Derpy. Then he noticed John Smith. "Oh, hello. Say, have we met somewhere before? You seem to be awfully familiar," he said, watching the chestnut pony with interest. "Oi, we've had dealings before, you and me. Nothing quite so formal as face-to-face like now, but we're acquainted," John said, his huge smile beaming. "Well, I hope I can provide you with some small amusement, as those 2 turned me back into a lawn ornament," he said, waving at the 2 alicorns. "I always knew. Wait, where have we had dealings before?" Discord asked, his head rising up confused. "Are there some places? You got quite a presence across the universe, mate. The Waddy have always loved the player of games, even when things haven't always worked out so well for the other players." He peered closer at John. "You're..." "Yes," he asked, his eyebrows waggling. "Times champion, right? When did you extend into this existential dimension? Sort of outside your usual haunts, isn't it?" Discord asked, fascinated. "One of the reasons I came to see you, mate. Bit of a problem. That spell you used to shift time for Derpy had repercussions. One of them was me," John said calmly. "Oh," asked Discord, studying the face on the chestnut stallion. "Multi-parallel interdimensional temporal rupture. You left the ends open on accident. Can't fight you over it. Time's a tricky business. Too easy to attract things through the holes left behind, though. May want to leave that be." "And why should I even consider that, time champion?" Discord asked, minutely examining the manicure of his claw hand. "Sounds just like it's just up my alley, that sort of chaos." "Lots of reasons. How old are you, mate?" John asked. Discord sighed ponderously in derision. "You know, good and well, I swam the void even before the universe exploded into being. Stop being so obtuse. And you only walk incorporeal from here, in the magic of this timeline." "Certainly," Discord said flatly. "Why?" John asked. Discord stopped, puzzled as he thought about the question. "You still hold the influence over every existence everywhere else. We've both opposed each other and partnered together when and where needed in other times and places. We're not really enemies, more like rivals in our dealings, eh? But in all of that, you only exist in a body here? Why?" the doctor asked. Because, Discord started. A bit rhetorical, that question, eh? Because here the enemies that would just love to have the living embodiment of chaos under a hoof didn't exist. Like I didn't exist, or at least I didn't until now. Such as whom, Discord scoffed. The only evidence to me are more or less right in this room. Save 5, and those are all useless without the elements. The ones most to benefit in finding you like this, the ones that could also come here through those little accidents of yours. Discord leaned in, eye to eye with the doctor, daring him to find one. Please, he said scornfully. The weeping angels? Discord's steady calm cracked a bit at that, then he smiled wickedly. The smile then brightened a bit more. Who said I had to stay here? As the pall came up, the doctor sat down, reached into a pocket. Discord snapped his fingers as the poof sounded. He disappeared, and then reappeared, right where he had been standing. Discord froze, the pall still lifted as he examined the faces around him briefly. He quickly resnapped, the fingers disappearing, and again reappearing once more. He frowned mightily, then he resnapped them again, disappeared and reappeared again. Discord then rapidly snapped his fingers, disappearing and reappearing over and over again. During the performance, his body changed, first him as himself, then a floating, brightly glowing thing with 3 strange, serpentine figures rising out of it, a nude, an alicorn with reddish mane and a cutie mark of ink bottle and a quill, which startled both Celestia and Luna in recognition, a humanoid wearing a trim red and black uniform of sorts, a small badge on his chest, 4 dots on his collar, an odd blue cylindrical being with a whimsical smile and an innocent but devilishly clever eyes. A few other indescribable things flashed by, and then the doctor spoke up. Discord froze in shock, once more his usual self, the color draining from him. No ruse or juvenile prank, it was an abject fear. The doctor pulled his hoof free of the pocket, held it up. Dimensional stabilizer, he said, gesturing with the hoof and the small device on it. Not much, almost a toy really. Keep a couple around for repairs and whatnot. He reached with his other hoof, shut the small machine off, and then put it back in his pocket. Dimensional shifting, mate. That nasty way angels take victims. To run off with you, put you away in an alternate reality, and lock you up in your new existence so you can't escape from it without help from the outside. Just like this did, he explained, patting the pocket. It's their style of murder, to leave you in a prison without walls, frontiers, or borders, and no matter where you go, there you stay. Forever. Dying doesn't get you out, by the way. Even your body must stay behind in their tiny, horrible box. The doctor stood up, walked over to him. How much temporal energy could the angels gather from trapping the demigod of chaos forever within the first scant seconds of time itself after the Big Bang? Enough perhaps to overrun all existence in entirety. He put out a hoof, touched Draconicus' shoulder, felt the trembling. I'm not the oncoming storm to you, Discord. No burning planets in the skies here. You know the risk now. Let me help you. I'm quite good at it, you know. Fluttershy also felt the trauma that Discord was feeling, leaned against him, trying to reassure him. Derpy did more than that. She came up, hugged him hard. His surprise quickly subsumed into gratitude as he hugged her back. John stared at her. What wonderful kindness she had, he thought to himself. Magnificent. This powerful creature, answerable to only himself, feeling such terror for probably the very first time in all of existence, and she responds the only way she knows how. What a magnificent being. Discord looked up, a bit of his insouciance returning, and as true of his nature, he let a bit of himself peek out. Tia, Winnie, come on, join in, he said with a smile and an outstretched arm. Celestia rolled her eyes, as Luna recoiled in moderate horror. Oh, come on, it's 1 or 2 millennia between friends, he asked with a smile. Discord ruling over this planet has taught me many things about understanding the point of view of others that may not share mine, Celestia said studiously. She glanced behind her where Luna had taken refuge, peeking out from around her. First rule, don't push it, she finished with a scowl. Discord let out one of his fat chuckles. And here I thought we need a mariachi band to commemorate my joy, he sniggered as one magic code into existence, playing loudly. Discord added to the din with the trumpet he held, playing along with the band. Discord, Celestia hoofed against her face, said with a pained look. Well, I can hardly be blamed for wanting to celebrate, can I? For someone who, up until very recently, never needed a friend, suddenly I'm awash with him? Discord was involved in a minor but escalating skirmish with his Ch.8, which, lacking anything near what constituted decent shoulders to rest upon, tried to slip down his lean frame every chance it got. It didn't help that there was still 2 ponies holding him. Derpy stared with frank curiosity at Fluttershy's hat, a pointed crown, white-brimmed, flamboyantly embroidered velvet thing, beading and sequins abounding, with little fuzzy balls dangling from the brim edge in a hideously gruesome orange-brown color, and Fluttershy was staring at the one she was wearing. As she glanced up, Hers was similarly appointed in Kelly green and silent accent. The two of them traded. Derpy didn't put her new hat back on. Just as slightly, she went to John, swapped his blue one for the orange, which she then put on somberly, fashioned of peas. She went back to hugging Discord. The princesses didn't get hats. Must have been the horns. The Serapes were a bit much though. Angel was probably grateful for the small poncho over his basket. No one could see him. Discord, Celestia said. I have impatient pling starting to creep into her voice. Please. Oh, alright. There was a flash and the mariachi band, musical instruments, and the trappings disappeared. Fluttershy and Derpy both decided to let go of him as well. The disappointment on Derpy's face over the loss of her hat must have been evident. There was another flash, and the hats reappeared on her. Fluttershy and even John. Even Luna got her Serape back. Celestia looked at her reproachfully. What? I kinda like the color, Luna said shyly in explanation, head down. Fine, she said. Her Serape suddenly reappeared also, but neatly folded across her back rather than wearing it like Luna was. She sighed. Discord, we have history with you, a difficult one, but I promise we will try our best to treat you kindly if you'll do the same for all of Equestria. I know of the angels, the doctor informed me once of their proclivities. No being should be made to suffer so, and we shall protect you as we protect our ponies and other life forms here, Celestia said decisively, with a small stamp of her right forehoof as finality. Luna tapped her on the flank with a hoof. Celestia swiveled her head around, fixated Luna in a piercing stare. Luna meekly lowered her head. Sister, I think I can help. Celestia spoke softly to her. Looney, I know how much you dislike him, Celestia whispered. With the presence of the doctor, there was a change here. I'd much rather have Discord as an ally than an enemy. I understand, sister, trust me. Celestia turned aside immediately and let her sister come forward. Discord, Luna said. I've not been one to trust easily, but I understand loneliness. To bend yourself to our wishes is difficult. I propose an accommodation. Go on, he said, paying attention as he leaned back in an imaginary seat. Luna used her aura to remove and neatly fold her surper across her back as she considered her words. There are places abandoned and unoccupied, such as the valley nearby, where you can exercise your various needs and abilities without harm to others. Entropy is a simple fact of life. Our conflict with you was a matter of excess. If you did that, Discord, could I come and watch sometimes? If it isn't too much trouble, I mean, Fluttershy said, again tapping the tips of her foreheads together, nervously looking expectantly at the dragon kiss. Derpy spoke up. Me too, I like to watch as well, she asked. She also was looking at him. As would I, said Luna honestly. So, he said calmly as a tea set and tea appeared for everyone. I take it we are coming into some sort of accord as a mutual aid association then, he asked as he stirred his tea upside down. Celestia sipped hers and then smiled. Exactly. I'm not much of a fighter, he sighed deeply, and an unhappy look on his face. Last time I tried I was overtaken and undone by 2 alicorns and a handful of bubbles, and if that wasn't embarrassing enough, it happened again by 6 frou-frou ponies and new bubble necklaces. No offense, Fluttershy. He craned his neck upside down and took a sip. None taken. She shrank back a bit under the scrutiny. Still, an intriguing idea, and no more time shifts, right? Discord asked. At least none undertaken haphazardly, right? Doctor added. Places to play? Luna nodded. Discord turned to Derpy. And what do you think about it? He asked her. Derpy suddenly froze. She then bolted for the door. As she dashed through it, a minor scene erupted in her wake. What happened? Discord asked, confused as his tea fell to the floor. The tea shattering as the cup splashed into a puddle. What did I do? Oh no, Fluttershy said warmly. Oh no, Fluttershy said with alarm. Calm down, everybody, said Luna. Celestia? Of course. She got up gracefully, headed toward the door, just as a chestnut stallion also reached it. Doctor, I think I have. No, she needs me. I have to go, he said, his eyes filled with concern and something else. Sister made a decision. Together, then? They went outside. The object of their search was near the bottom of the path to the house, under a tree filled with birdhouses of all kinds. She was facing back down the road toward her own home. Doctor, let me talk to her first, Celestia said decisively. But, he said it, anxiety written on his face. Silly hat askew. She needs me. I mucked it up with this, and I have to make it right, princess. She smiled affectionately at him. I know, John. She put a kindly hoof on his shoulder. But let me talk to her first. There are some things a pony needs to talk about with their princess, rather than a time charger. And don't worry, my pony, she'll want to talk with you soon enough, as soon as she calms down. She started down the path as he watched. At the bottom, she spoke a few words to the gray mare, and they both started walking towards Derpy's home. He left the front of the house, wandering down the path at the road. Underneath that same tree, sat down, facing the house where the two of them headed as he watched. He took off his hat, holding it with the four hoofs, setting himself with certainty. No matter what, no matter anything, he would wait right here for her. The end.
100,000 stories have filled my head as I look for the answer in what I've read. Secretly waiting for my life to change.